Hello, folks. Just as the kid yells, yeah.
It's a pretty little thing called love, apparently. He's
Crazy
yelling
little-
out
crazy little thing called-
little thing about love and crazy little kid throwing crap around in the stable, apparently. So,
Hello, folks. I'm Greg.
I'm Jeff, and welcome to the Loose Moose / the Collective Arts Brewery Extravaganza. Today,
We are the 40/40 men.
Yep.
You are drinking Ransack.
ransack the universe. I am going to ransack the universe. It's very fruity and kind of herb smelling.
Well, that's the hops. And
Herby goodness.
we are a baseball show that I'm okay.
I would love to talk about Scaramouche, but
Yeah, that's awesome.
that's for something else.
That's actually the only thing Donald Trump has done right was fire that guy. But I don't even think that was him. That's got to be someone else.
Well, anytime you say that you aren't going to be like somebody else who's trying to do something, or the best part about the whole thing yesterday, or this past weekend when he said the Sakma thing he got comment, was all the newscasters trying to say that without actually saying
it. Yeah.
It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. And one was he must have been a gymnast if he was able to do that. Doing something that's physically impossible to himself is another one. Somebody used the word self-fillet.
It's kind of like I would like him to blank his own blank. It sounds like a Mad Libs, like an empty Mad Libs. Yeah.
It's expletive about extra. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm saying this. Blah. And then there's one guy who been on, I can't remember what his name was, broadcaster for 50 years. He's won like Edward R. Murrow Awards and stuff, and he's just laughing his ass off as he's trying to say it. So to the Mooch, good on you, buddy. You, oh my god, I don't even know what to say.
Well, anyway,
it sounds like a baseball nickname. That's
Yeah.
why like the Mooch is
The
a
Mooch.
or
But
no,
I mean-
Little League nickname.
Little league nickname. Yeah. So baseball.
Yeah.
Today is the trade deadline, and Jay's made a couple of moves.
Yes, there's been trades.
Yeah. Well, there's like the big ones. We'll talk about the big trades that sort of hit the league.
Mhm.
I mean, Yu Darvish going to the Dodgers because the Dodgers need all the help they can get.
That was always the biggest one that was going to come down the pipe, and the Sonny Gray one as well. But Yu
Yeah,
Darvish is the
Yu
big
Darvish
name, I
is
would say.
huge. I mean, like that's literally like they, the Dodgers gave away a couple of Tonys, Tony Cingrani and Tony Watson,
Tony.
for Yu Darvish. I mean, granted, Kershaw is going to be out for like a month and a half or so, but
Yeah.
they're still killing it without him.
Oh yeah, they're 43 games above 500 right now.
Yeah.
And they just made themselves better.
Better.
So I think, was it 26 of the last 57 games are going to be played against the Padres, the Diamondbacks, and the Giants?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Diamondbacks are good, but I mean,
But
the
it's all
Padres and the
interdivisional
Giants.
stuff.
Padres and the Giants, they can sort of feast on it.
Yeah,
so
they're
they can.
going to kill everybody
Yeah.
else.
And you said they're
Oh, no, it's the Rockies. not
the
Giants,
Rockies.
pardon me, the Rockies.
Well, I mean, the Rockies are pretty killer too.
Well, Arizona's been doing pretty well, but I mean, the Dodgers are head and shoulders above everybody else. For a while there, we thought it was going to be Houston, but no.
Well, Houston's still doing
Oh,
well.
no, Houston's good in the American League. You're talking about the best team overall. That's the Dodgers.
But,
Kenley
well-
Jansen was first save of the year last week.
Yeah. But
So-
you've got the Dodgers just all of a sudden rookies show up and start performing.
Yeah.
And then they whenever something happens, they seem to be able to fill that gap like right away. Like I mean,
That's when they happen. You have multi-billionaires
Yeah.
running your team.
but I mean, Adrian Gonzalez is never going to see the field again.
No.
Kershaw. Okay, Kershaw's
He should
like
have been traded to a team that needs a DH. That's
Yeah.
what they should have done with Adrian Gonzalez.
Kershaw is one of the greatest pitchers, essentially in the league right now. Actually, possibly the greatest pitcher in the league right now. Oh, what happens?
He may basically be one of the top 10 all time.
Yeah, he goes down and they pick up Yu Darvish.
Yeah.
So,
So it's not only are they a good team with good star players and a huge payroll, but they actually have the farm system to back it up, a la the Red Sox, a la the Yankees.
yeah,
So
we're getting better.
yeah,
We're getting better.
we've realized that our low minor leagues up to the A-ball stuff were really awesome. Our AA and AAA teams are out of the 8 teams affiliated with the Blue Jays. Those are the only 2 teams under 500, and they're way under 500, like 20 some odd games by both teams. But I mean, the Dominican League team is hitting up a storm. The Gulf Coast League team has a team ERA of like 2.5. I mean, there's some good stuff up there. And in a couple more years, when that starts flowing in the AA, AAA, then you'll start seeing the consistency that we need. But right now,
Yeah.
it's
And then we bring
all
up the family pack.
yes.
which I want Bo Bichette as a nickname like Boba Fett. I want something to be done with that because it's just cool. Boba Fett, Boba Fett, Boba Fett, Boba Fett, Boba Fett.
We'll just call him Boba.
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 I'm just trying to update my my little trades here. Yeah.
Well, we've had a few. Oh, I also want to say today would have been the 25th birthday of Jose Fernandez, of course, he killed last year. It's the voting law should be changed. They tried to do a few things around where he crashed, and they wouldn't actually put out markers. They just left it the way it was. Yeah, because I guess the Miami Sheriff's Department didn't think it was necessary.
Okay, that's where they need like Horatio Kane to go in there and go, Jose.
So tell me about this.
Need some ginger-haired freak
Jose.
who randomly has like an instant connection with every kid that he meets. Like I would be running away if I ever saw that.
Yeah, Sparky. Yeah, I'm sorry about your parents getting eaten by a shark.
Yeah.
But hey, it gets better.
Yeah. So the Jays trade bait. Francisco Liriano to Houston, and look what it did for Liriano last year. Liriano, had a semi-horrible sort of start to his campaign in Pittsburgh, and then when he came over here, he actually lit it up for us. And he was one of our more consistent performers throughout the rest of the year. This year he's miring a little bit, so maybe that'll spark him to go over to Houston. But we're getting Nori Aoki, a 35-year-old left fielder who's decent.
Yeah,
like he's decent, and I mean he's as good as anyone that we have right now.
I would debate that with the way Pierce has been coming on lately.
Well,
but
Pierce,
not really a left fielder, though.
We will discuss Steve Pierce in a second because that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then also we traded Joe Smith to Cleveland, and this is actually Joe Smith for a couple of minor league prospects. Tom Pannone,
guys who aren't even on the top 30 prospect list.
But also they're 22 and 19, right? But I mean a shortstop who's batting 300 in the minors right now, and a left-handed relief pitcher essentially who's for his minor league career, he's got 444 strikeouts.
But the main reason he was traded was Joe Smith is a Cleveland guy.
Mm-hmm.
The only team he really wanted to go to was Cleveland because his mother, unfortunately, is suffering from Huntington's disease. She's within a stone's throw away from the stadium in Cleveland, so it's where he grew up. It's where he wanted to go to be there for his mom. So. Good on Shapiro and Atkins for getting something for him,
and also good on Cleveland for making that deal too.
Well, they need him.
Yeah, I know, but this is also like more of a baseball trade than a let's help this guy out kind of thing.
It's a 50-50 shot on that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, the one two for Liriano is good. We got what we got. We stocked up some more low minor league people, so maybe that'll bump some other guys up.
Yeah.
So not a horrible trade deadline. I wasn't really expecting much from us.
No.
The only other person who might have gone was Marco Estrada.
Yeah,
and I think he screwed the pooch on himself on that one.
Yeah,
because
but this could also things like this can also help a team. Like we'll discuss that in a second. But I mean, like a 7-run, 9th inning. That's like a catalyst that can happen.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, just it's kind of funny that you mentioned Houston killing it and then all of a sudden sort of tailing off a bit. This day in 2012. Houston lost 10-1 to Milwaukee and making them 3-24 in the month of July in that year. So look how bad they were at that point in time and how much they've turned around. Like that's what a difference a few years can make to an organization that's actually taking care of stuff like that.
It's taking care of stuff. Some interesting trades. Sonny Gray got sent to the Yankees.
Yeah, for three prospects. Addison Reed to Boston.
I can't believe they got
prospects as well.
Yeah, that actually kind of surprised
3 low
me.
prospects too.
Yeah. So I mean, there was some other stuff moving around, like Jonathan Lupert with the Rockies, give them the catch that they needed. Tony Watson, Tony Cingrani. They'll help. We're getting. They're all right. I mean, they're good. They're serviceable left-handed relievers.
They're plug players essentially, right? You can plug them in and they'll be able to play.
No, but there was really nothing new other than the Gray and the Darvish one. Everything else was all kind of taken care of in the past few days. So the teams that needed it got stronger, and the teams who didn't got weaker.
Yeah.
The Royals traded for Melky Cabrera because they got a bunch of pitching already, and they were rumored to be after Liriano and Estrada, but ultimately they didn't do it.
And actually, the Royals have brought it on as of late too, right?
Like they 8 or 9 in a row.
Yeah, they and handily as well.
Yeah.
And Lou.
But that's not going to lie. They're still, I don't know. I mean, it's essentially the same team they've had the last couple of years. I mean, it's like the last kick of the can. Same with the Jays, last kick of the can.
Yeah.
We might try and retool for next year. They keep calling it a retooling. I don't think it's going to be a retooling. I think you got to kind of blow it up in the off season and see what you get for your
You don't
people.
have to blow it up. You got to get rid of a couple of pieces. You don't have to blow it up.
We lose two pitchers already in Estrada and Liriano. They're gone.
Well, Liriano's done, and Estrada's contract is up. We have Happ for another year.
There was a rumor abound that they were thinking of trading Jay Happ, which would have stupid. Yeah. Like if you get Sanchez and Stroman and him as a starting three, that's a good start.
But this is
in there. Good start.
This is the thing, right? So Sanchez is out for another few starts. Cesar Valdez actually has done fairly well.
Well, he did the first game. He did well. The second
game,
not so much.
As well as he could do. Who's going to be the fifth starter then?
Well, Biagini will be in there for a fourth starter for sure.
You think?
They're going to throw him back in. The only reason they put him in the bullpen at this point is because they had nowhere else to put him.
Yeah.
And you know what? They could sign the starting pitcher.
Yeah.
You only need one.
Yeah.
So there's your five plus a little bit more depth. Hopefully we get more depth guys coming up, and this time not depth guys as being like, veterans stuck in AAA, but depth guys being guys who were like the Connor Greens and the Sean Reed Foleys, the people like that who are supposed to bridge the gap. We're supposed to be there when you need them to go dip down and do a couple spot starts here and there. It's a possibility. The other rumblings when people are thinking we should have traded Roberto Osuna, you guys are fucking stupid.
Idiots. Yeah.
I don't understand.
You keep Sanchez, Stroman, and Osuna, and then everyone else is sort of.
You're always looking for young, controllable talent. Why would you trade young, controllable, a 22-year-old young, controllable talent? We got him for a few more years.
Okay, we went 5-2 last week. We could have gone 6-1 because it was like that once in a while screw up inning that Osuna has,
which was his first blown save since like April.
Yeah.
He had gone like 23 in a row, I think, or something like that.
He had 22 in a row. He didn't get a save on the one. Like he blew one actually a few weeks back, but then he started on a run again. But I mean, like they could have been 6-1, and that's that one sort of inning that's going to happen to a closer periodically. I mean, like it's a rarity you're going to get like an Eric Gagne who does like 55 for 55.
He blew at his arm.
Yeah.
Ended up in the Can-Am League, which still exists, by the way, and he was pitching in it this year.
Yeah.
There was talk that he was going to actually sign with somebody, but then they all went like, hey, he's there.
No. But I guess we can ring this up, so hold on a sec.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we mentioned Steve Pearce earlier. He is definitely the mention on the bench because he's done something that's never been done before. He has hit 2 walk-off grand slams in the span of 4 days.
Yeah.
Now, Jim Traver in 1986, and I can't remember the older guy from like 1920s.
100 days apart, and there was someone from the Phillies in 1926.
Yeah, they've done it 2 grand slam walk-off home runs in the season but never like
in the same week.
Yeah, in the same week. That's ridiculous.
But then there was also 3 walk-off grand slams this week.
Yeah.
Pearce did 2, and an old Jay, Edwin, the day before Pearce hit his first one.
So Pearce has done something that will probably not be done for another 100 years.
Yeah,
I mean, the odds of that happening again are astronomical.
Like lottery odds.
The odds of it happening in general were astronomical. So good on you, Pearce, for picking up those 8 RBIs. People were wondering about the Steve Pearce signing, especially after his April kind of sucked.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's exactly what he said he would be. He's going to hit around 280 or 290. He get some clutch hits. He can play around the diamond. He's a hard-nosed kind of guy. So good on him for hitting 2 home runs and making Buck Martinez almost lose his voice.
Yeah.
On Sunday.
It gave Buck Martinez, about 5 days worth of chatter of not talking about Aaron Judge.
Yeah, and it was the biggest ninth inning comeback in the history of the Blue Jays.
7 runs. Because I actually even didn't watch because I saw the score at 10-3.
I saw the
score at 10-3 and I'm just like, okay, this one's done.
No, it was 10-4.
10-4. Yeah, 10-4. And I'm like, this one's done.
I saw 9-4. Then they added another one in the 9th, and I'm like, forget it. And then all of a sudden, boom, they come up and here they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good on you for doing something good.
But this is the kind of thing that can spark a team, right? A trade deadline comes around. We don't get rid of core guys. They have a 7-run 9th inning comeback.
It's going to spark us to do finishing 4th.
I don't know, but but think about things like this. Like I'm my boat sailed last week.
Yes.
I officially said my boat sailed last week, but the team doesn't think so. So that's a good thing. It's like the team is going to play their ass off.
There are things you can play for when you're mired into like 8 games under 500. I mean, there is stuff you can play for. Obviously, if you don't play for those things, then why the hell are you playing the ball games in the first place?
7 games under 500.
Yeah, 7 games under 500. Well, if you're going to do that, obviously, I mean, things like that can happen. So if you believe things like these walk-off grand slams can happen, then sure, anything can happen. I mean, theoretically, anything can happen. It won't.
And we've got a good start to the week because we play Chicago, the White Sox, not the Cubs.
Just stripped bare.
Yeah.
Due to trades and
we get to face 2 pitchers, actually 3 pitchers who used to be something like 5 years ago and now are not. We're facing James Shields in the first one, and James remember
off a fucking cliff,
back in the day, big game James when he was with Tampa, and then just nothing.
God, just
decent with Kansas City, and then everywhere he went after that was just horrific.
The word is I'll use it again. Screw the pooch.
Yeah. Mike Pelfrey, and then and Derek Holland. Derek Holland had our number when he was in Texas. He was actually pretty decent against us in Texas, but he's on Chicago now, and it's not.
Yeah, he was
not really
hitting arm problems as usual.
Yeah.
Some of these guys do. Mike Pelfrey, I'm surprised he's still in the league.
Yeah, all these guys are like 5 and 6 ERA.
Yeah, so the only way they're going to beat us is if they out hit us.
Yeah,
there's still some guys on that team that can hit. So it is a possibility. I don't think we're going to sweep Chicago by any stretch of the imagination, but I think we'll take.
I think it's a possibility. It's a possibility.
I think we'll lose one.
But then we go into Houston, and that's and hey, here's the starter for you, Houston, and then we got to go. We have to go face him.
Yeah, no kidding.
So
hey, look, Houston, here's your Nori Aoki. I would laugh my ass off if Nori Aoki hit like a walk-off home run to knock his own team up. He's not a home run hitter to begin with, but it would be kind of nice retribution, little things, and to hit it off Liriano would be the best.
Yeah. But yeah, it's Strada versus Shields, Stroman versus Pelfrey, and Happ versus Holland. So, I mean, you've got 2 wild cards pitching in the first game, and anything can happen. Yeah. So and that's tonight at 8.
Oh, speaking of Stroman, what did you think of the whole fiasco?
Oh my God. Okay, so
yeah, okay.
I mean, I'm not a conspiracy theorist by thing, but I know that Major League Baseball doesn't see Toronto / AKA the Canadian era as a big marketing thing,
which is ridiculous because there's 30 million people in the market.
We don't get all of them, but I mean, like, look, when you go to a Mariners game, they're full because they're full because they've got that. You go to a Twins game, people from Winnipeg go down, right? So. Yeah. Like I don't think there's a conspiracy theory against it, but for some reason the Jays just get the most horrible strike zone imaginable.
This past week I've been watching the walks specifically for our teams. Mm-hmm. We've been getting 4 or 5 walks a game almost every single game this week. Yeah, I mean our pitchers aren't that bad.
No, and you're getting like, even when you look at on the strike tracker, right? It's a line that's on there, and all of a sudden they'll call it a strike on the other guys. They'll call it a ball for us. And it changes an at bat, because if it goes against us, you've got something that could have been like a 3-1 count, and now you're 2-2.
Well, just in general, this is 2 things. One, I've never seen a manager, a catcher, and a pitcher get thrown out within this span of 3 minutes in my life. Second of all, I don't pay to see what's his fucking face, Will Little, go behind the plate and toss these guys out. I'm not paying money if I'm going to a game to watch Will Little throw people out of a game. It goes back to the same thing that happened earlier in the week with Adrian Beltre, which is the most retarded one of all of them. Pardon the expression. Adrian Beltre, if you don't know it, was not in the on-deck circle. There's an on-deck circle.
But he's been standing there his entire career.
Yeah,
his entire career.
He was up like 10, 15 feet away from it, and the umpire pointed at him and said, "You got to get it, you got to get it." This is a guy who's been around for 30 years.
It's not even that far away. He was like maybe 5 feet away from it.
Like, so he went up and grabbed the on-deck circle and dragged it to where he was sitting. People are laughing. The announcers are laughing. What did the umpire do? Threw him out of the game. And this is a guy who's on the verge of getting 3,000 hits, which he did eventually. But
that's the crap part about that, is that was just an umpire flexing his muscle. That was a nonsense play that had nothing to do with the game whatsoever.
Like, if you want to see, it should be like the Earl Weaver, Billy Martin days. It should be a manager being a goofball, not the umpires. Yeah. These umpires have the thinnest skin of anybody I've ever freaking seen. You know what? You know what's going to happen because of all this crap? Yeah. You're not going to have any more home plate umpires eventually. They will get rid of the home plate umpire. If you don't want to get rid of your jobs being taken away, stop acting like a freaking prima donna and trying to show up the players. All they want to do is just, you're going to get the strike trackers. You're going to be the ones that are going to call the games.
Yeah, but players are held accountable if ever they do anything wrong or whatever. And they're not allowed to
Never.
criticize the umpires. Not allowed to criticize anything. But an ump can never admit a mistake.
No,
The
it
only
drives me
one that I've
nuts.
seen do it in the last little while was the guy that called the guy safe instead of out for. Why can't I think of his name? For Detroit.
Oh yeah. I remember that one. Yeah.
It was Anibal
That was
Sanchez.
last year. Yeah, it was Annabelle.
Yeah, who could have had a perfect game, and it was the last out, and the guy called him safe, and he was out. He was out by a couple of feet, and the ump cried and said, "I'm sorry, I made the
He had
wrong
no
call."
choice.
Yeah, and it was just like, but he did it.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
did it, and
So there should be more accountability. But you know what? You should be able to have press conferences with the umpire afterwards.
For sure.
Just like the players had to put themselves out there, the
Yeah.
umpires should have to put themselves out there.
Mhm.
And you know what, Will Little? You screwed it up. You made the game about you, and it's not about you.
Mhm.
Fucking idiot.
Speaking of Beltre, though, got his 3,000th hit yesterday,
Yep.
and he's like they
Sure as shit, Hall of Famer.
oh yeah,
Nobody's-
like 452 homers, 3,000 hits, 1,600 RBIs, 1,602.
Yeah. The numbers he can put up by technically by the end of his, he plays another year or two,
Yeah.
maybe. He could put up numbers that only 3 or 4 players have ever put up ever
Yeah.
combined. 500 home runs, 3,000
and
hits.
he's still popping home runs.
Yep.
Yeah, like
He got
it's-
10 right this year, and he missed a bunch of games because he was
because he
hurt.
was injured.
He
Yeah,
probably could hit 30 this year easily.
yeah,
if he
like
wasn't hurt
he
for so
actually
long.
had a homer this week.
Yeah, that was number 10.
What was I going to say? The trade deadline has essentially the window has passed because it was
Yeah.
4:00. We're
It's
still
done.
sort of waiting for some updates to see if anyone else is gone. But as it looks like, Justin Verlander didn't really go anywhere unless there's a trade sort of
They're
in
saying
the works right
he
now.
could be an August trade because he's got a big
Yeah.
contract. So if he all of a sudden puts it up really well, he could be a guy who gets traded. Same with Estrada. These could be August guys. So remember, the deadline's not saying that the deadline is the non-waiver deadline, which means you can make trades between both leagues
Yeah.
without having to put your player through waivers. Now, if you're going to do a trade in August, up until August 31st, you can still trade them, but they got to pass through waivers, and teams below the person you're trading it to can claim that guy.
Yeah.
But no one's going to claim Verlander. Someone could claim Estrada if they think they're going to do well with
Yeah.
him. But ultimately, this is pretty much going to be it. So I think he's the only name out there that probably has a chance.
Yeah.
And the Tigers have already traded Alex Avila. They traded Justin Wilson.
Mhm.
Those guys went to the Cubs.
The Cubs.
So the Cubs retooled themselves again and did really well. They
Yeah.
probably could have used a Verlander. Look for Verlander maybe to go to the Cubs because I think they could use another starter.
Yeah.
They've been kind of iffy on that stretch right now. So things can still happen. Oh, and speaking of the Cubs, one of the best things I saw, everybody knows about Steve Bartman.
Oh yes.
From 2003 World Series, Bartman. He screwed up the foul ball. Moises
But there was
Alou lost
10
his-
people reaching for it.
Yeah.
There was 10 people. He just
Moises
got
Alou lost his shit. All the Chicago lost their crap. Bartman has never been back to a ball game in Chicago since. You know what the Cubs did for him because of all the crap he's had to
because of
endure?
ruining his life for
Yeah.
13 years.
Because of all the crap he's had to endure, he got a 2016 World Series ring. And if you could see the pic, go online, look at the picture of this ring. It's bling bling.
Yeah.
I mean, he said he's going to keep his family for generations. If I won that ring, I'd sell that
Oh,
sucker
no
for
way.
hundreds of thousands of dollars.
No, I'd keep it. It's got your name on it.
It does say Bartman on it.
Yeah.
So good on you, Cubs. That's I'd never expected anything like that. So
That's a good
on you
move.
for doing
That's a
that.
good move. Yeah.
Yeah, and so
That's-
maybe, and the thing is, Bartman's never been back to Wrigley
But
Field since.
he's been a Cubs fan diehard since then.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
But he's never been back because he felt vilified. He felt
Yeah.
like he couldn't go back there. But Tom Ricketts, the owner, made this step forward. Theo Epstein approved it. All these guys came forward and they did it for him. So maybe this will close the door on it. Maybe he'll finally be able to go back to
'Cause-
Wrigley Field for
they've-
the first
they've,
time in 14 years.
They've even tried to get him to come out and throw a first pitch because
Yep,
they
yep.
want him to throw the first pitch.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a really great documentary. If you ever catch those 30 for 30s for ESPN called Catching Hell, and it's about him, but it's also about curses in baseball. And this was done before the Cubs won, obviously, but after Boston had won. So they talked about like two of the longest standing curses for Boston and Chicago about just things that happen and how quirky baseball
Baby the
is.
goat.
Yeah. And it's actually a really good one. So if you get a chance to it, you should check that out too.
So good on the Cubs for pulling that off. That was awesome. One thing we were talking about as we were preparing for the show was we were talking about the Blue Jays minor league teams.
Yes.
So we've been doing all right.
With the lower we go, the better they are.
Yeah, the lower we go, the better, which is good because that means you're building slowly
Yeah.
but surely. You're not trying for things you shouldn't be trying for. Just some random team stats. So the Dominican League Blue Jays, they're doing pretty well for themselves. Where's my one loss record?
The DSL. Well, the Bisons are 45-63, not so hot. Fisher Cats are even worse, 43-64. Dunedin, this is where you're starting to turn the table.
Yeah.
55-51. Lugnuts 51-51. Vancouver Canadians 24-21, and the Bluefield Blue Jays, which are another Advanced A1, is it's a short season too. 25-12.
And so Dominican League Blue Jays are 32-16. So they're in this is the stat that's down. Two of the teams, the Gulf Coast League Blue Jays and the DSL, the Dominican Summer League Blue Jays, have both given up only 10 home runs all year.
Yeah.
Gulf Coast League, 10 home runs in 262 innings, and the Gulf Coast and the Dominican League Blue Jays, 10 home runs given up in 420 innings. That means they give up 0.2 home runs per 9 innings.
Yeah.
That astounds me. Like, even for a low minor league where guys aren't hitting many home runs, even that's ridiculous. On the flip side, the Dominican League Jays have also only hit 2 home runs for their team.
So they're a scramble team.
Yeah.
Speaking of minors and not giving up home runs, we actually didn't mention it last week, but the week prior, and this is actually important to do, the Mets farm system. Now, when you told me this stat, I figured it was across the farm system. Pitched 2 no-hitters in the same day.
Yeah.
But
Doubleheader.
it was a doubleheader.
Yeah.
Same franchise, same affiliate. A no-hitter in the day, a no-hitter in the
So
afternoon.
they played 2 games against the team. The other team got nary a hit.
In
I don't know if this ever happened before.
yeah, that's ridiculous. Like that, and having 2 walk-off grannies in the same week.
Yeah, there's been some interesting stats, and that's what it's always about stats. So if you look at your Athlon's Baseball magazine from next year, you'll see these things popping up there. Baseball is always really good for weird things happening because it's one of those sports that it's not confined to a time frame. Anything can pretty much happen. It's the I guess most prolific one-on-one team sport there is.
Yeah.
So that means there's more chance for things to happen.
But they play every day.
They would never
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day. And the crazy thing about this is, like, you have to realize how important this Dodger team is at this point in time. That, like, the pace they're putting up.
Mhm.
81 games and 81 games, right?
Yep.
That's your 50-50 mark.
Yep.
That's your 500 mark. You get into the playoffs with like 93 wins, 93 to 95, right? 93 wins, 95.
They're on pace for, I read it was 114 wins.
With 114 wins, that still means they're going to lose like 68 games. So you're still going to lose a lot of games. So no matter what happens, because on any given day, San Diego can beat the Dodgers.
Yep.
And that's just sort of how it goes. Like, crazy things sort of happen.
I mean, so any sports like that, but baseball more so than others. Because like you can have a pitcher who gets hot. You can have a batter who, like Steve Pierce did.
Yeah.
They're hitting, or even, and we didn't even mention this, is that Kendrys Morales has 2 walk-off home runs as well.
Yeah.
We don't have like grand slams, but Morales has been doing pretty good. I mean, his batting average is as high as Edwin, but generally all the other stats are kind of the same. So all of you who thought that we kind of screwed it up, Morales is doing okay for himself.
Yeah, I'm fine with the trade. I mean, I would love to have kept Edwin, because Edwin, the personality on the team, even though I didn't speak a stitch of English, which I think he does. I think it's a fake. I think he's faking it just so that he doesn't have to talk to reporters. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, he was a personality that the fans got a kick out of himself. But you know what, Morales has been all right.
Yeah, I'm quite happy with where he's come. I mean, I wish his batting average was a little bit higher, but what can you do? Mm-hmm. I mean, he's done everything we were supposed to think he was going to do, and that's fine.
So this coming week, Jays are in Chicago for 3, and they have Thursday off, and they're in Houston for 3.
Southside
prediction.
Southside.
I say 3-3, and it's literally going to be sweep. The other way around.
I would, I'm going to say 3-3, but I'm going to say
2-1 and 1-2.
Yeah. We just have a lot of guys who ain't hitting. We just have a lot of guys who aren't pulling their weight this year. I don't know what the reasoning. Josh Donaldson, the biggest one. Yeah. I mean, maybe he's still hurt. Maybe he's still hurt.
But that's the thing is he's been injured a couple times. Obviously, we lost Tulo again this week, and
Tulo might be up for the season. By the way, he's got some nasty ligament damage from rolling his ankle.
Yeah. Which looked awful, man. And one of the worst that I think I've ever seen is a few years back. It was in the 90s, but a player for the Pirates, which I can't remember, as he stepped on the base, his ankle actually broke, and his next step was a regular foot, and then his step to slow down was the foot on the side, but that was the fibia and tibia sticking into the ground. And just the scream that you heard off that was So yeah, so at least his foot's still attached.
I got a high pain tolerance, but I still don't like pain.
Oh, that was
pain.
Yeah,
Ugh.
that was awful.
So we are what we are. The trade deadline is what it is. Keep an eye out for more things coming down, but that's probably going to be it. We do enjoy bringing this to you every week. So again, thanks to Collective Arts Brewery. Thanks to the Loose Moose for letting us do this stuff. We really appreciate all this. It's not so crowded in here because the Jays aren't in town. There's nothing going on in the
nothing
city.
going on tonight.
But enjoy your city while you can when there's no teams around. There's some cool shit to do. So enjoy whatever the hell you're going to do this week.
Take care, guys.